You were 12 when it happened. Not the kind of 12 where you still sleep with a nightlight, but the kind where you start thinking you're brave. You had just moved in with your dad 2 years earlier. Didn't really know anyone, except for one family he was close with. A single mom and her 3 kids. You didn't care much about them at first, but one of the girls, a little older than you, started talking to you. Over time, not best friends, not close, but enough to know her laugh, the way she tied her hoodie strings tight when it got cold, and that she hated the dark. She was the kind of person everyone liked. Even your friend Rob, who was always goofing off and never serious about anything, hung around her. You all kind of circled the same group, talking after school, sneaking snacks from gas stations, walking the long way home just to avoid going home. That night, it was just Rob, her, and her little brother at the house. Her mom was working late again. She always did that. Double shifts, night shifts, anything to keep the lights on. She worked with people who needed help, people who didn't always get better. That's how she met the woman. The one whose sister had just been released from some kind of hospital. The kind you don't talk about. You didn't hear all the details back then. Adults don't tell kids everything. But her mom had been helping this lady through work, and they got close. Too close. Close enough that the lady started sharing things, like where she grew up, how her sister was coming back into her life, how she thought it might be good for her to meet people again. That's how it started. That's how the sister learned the schedule, the names, the house. It was around 8:45 at night. Cold, winter air pressing against the windows like a hand you couldn't see. Inside, the 3 of them were watching a movie, laughing, lights low. You weren't there, but you can see it. Your brain builds it too easily. Popcorn on the couch, blankets, the sound of the furnace kicking on and off. Then the knock. 3 knocks. Slow, heavy, not rushed, not nervous, just steady. She thought it was her mom. Her mom always knocked in a weird pattern. 2 light, 1 hard. But tonight, it was off. Still, she opened the door anyway. Rob didn't want to get caught being there. He wasn't supposed to be, so he jumped out the window, ran back to his house down the street. Later, he'd say he didn't think twice. He thought it was nothing, but it wasn't her mom. And by the time the door opened, it was already too late. The woman didn't look dangerous. That's how it works. Her coat was zipped too high, her smile too wide. You never think something is wrong until your skin feels cold and the lights in your head go out one by one. The brother said he heard a weird sound from the kitchen, then a dragging noise, like boots on tile, then silence, then a soft voice whispering something again and again. He couldn't make out the words. He got out, ran barefoot to the neighbor's house, banged on the door until his hands bled. Police showed up fast, but not fast enough. You didn't see the crime scene. You weren't allowed, but you heard things no kid should hear. She was found in the upstairs bathroom. The tub was full, her clothes were gone. The body was wrong. Her mouth was open like she had screamed for a long time, but no sound came out. She was missing her head. They found it later. You don't want to know where. You really don't. Some said it was inside a wrapped gift, a Christmas present. Her little brother had already placed it under the tree. They had to open each one to check. Quiet room, adults holding their breath. And there it was, the box that smelled strange, like rust and wet leaves. You weren't allowed at the funeral. Your dad said it wouldn't help. You told him you didn't care, but he was right. It wouldn't have helped. What still keeps you up, though, is what Rob told you weeks later. He swears when he jumped out the window and ran down the street, he turned back once, just a glance, just for a second. He said he saw someone standing behind her at the door. Not beside her, behind her. Too tall, shadow too long, and it wasn't moving. Not even a little, just watching, head tilted. He said it looked straight at him, and then it smiled. You didn't go to school for a week after it happened. Your dad said you were sick. You weren't. You just couldn't stop picturing it. Not the scene, but her. Her face when she opened the door. You wonder if she even had time to feel scared, or if it all just went quiet. Everyone at school pretended they were okay, like it didn't happen. But you could tell it messed with people. No one sat in her usual seat. Her locker stayed closed. Even the teachers acted different. Quieter, nervous. Some didn't come back. One teacher left in the middle of a lesson and never returned. They said he got another job. You knew that was a lie. Her little brother never spoke about it. He moved schools 2 months later. You heard his mom quit her job, too. Couldn't take it anymore. You wouldn't blame her. But Rob changed the most. He started walking home in the middle of the day. Said he didn't feel safe in buildings anymore. He taped black paper over the windows in his room. He stopped eating. Wouldn't talk to anyone but you. One day, he told you something he hadn't told the police. Something that sat deep in his chest, like a knot he couldn't untie. He said after he ran out that night, after he looked back and saw the shadow behind her, he kept seeing it everywhere. At first, he thought it was just his eyes playing tricks. Shadows behind trees. A face in a window. But it wasn't just one time. It kept happening. Closer. Every time he blinked, it moved. Like it was stepping forward when he wasn't looking. He tried drawing it once. You still have the picture. You wish you didn't. The arms are too long. The mouth stretches the wrong way. There are no eyes, just black circles. He said they weren't sockets, just holes. One night, a few weeks later, Rob called you. Late. His voice was shaking. He said it was in his room. You thought he was dreaming, until you heard something behind him on the phone. A voice, not his, not even human, just soft, breathy words, repeating the same thing over and over. Don't open the door. You ran to his house, banged on his bedroom window. No answer. The lights were off. You called his phone again. It rang once, then stopped. The police found his room the next morning. Nothing looked broken. Nothing stolen. But Rob was gone. Window locked. Door still shut from the inside. Only one strange thing was out of place. His closet door. It was open just a crack. Just wide enough to see the inside wall. Someone had written something there, scratched deep into the wood. It said, "You should have let her scream." They never found him. Just like they never found her killer. The woman disappeared before the cops even got to the house. Vanished. No footprints, no fingerprints, just the girl's body. And a name scratched into the bathtub rim. It wasn't the girl's name. It wasn't anyone's name. It was yours. You never told anyone about that. You never told anyone what you saw weeks later, in your own bedroom mirror, late at night. When your eyes were half closed, just for a second. Behind your reflection, there was something else. Standing still, watching, and smiling.